Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? X marks the spot. Get Xfinity Internet and add the new Stream Saver that includes Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix. Just $15 a month. All your favorites, all in one place, only from Xfinity. So go ahead and binge some shows, stream some movies, and save some money all at the same time. For more watching and less spending, X marks the spot. Switch at Xfinity.com today. Restrictions apply. Taxes extra. Price subject to change.
Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, Haunted Mansion Holiday is back open. We have all the details. Key holders get first pick of Halloween merchandise.
Deadpool and Wolverine arrive at the resort to big crowds. More Encanto could be coming to the resort. We finish our talk with Lorcana artist Casey Robin and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Well, hello there. Welcome to our unbirthday party. For your safety, please be sure to stay listening with your hands, arms, feet, and ears inside the podcast. And please, do give Tag and Teresa easier trivia questions. Well, it seems DL Weekly is about to begin. Have a most wonderful time. Perhaps tea time.
Hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of July 31st, 2024. I'm Tag Bushman.
And I'm Teresa Urban. We would like to thank everyone who supports the show. This week, we'd like to give a special shout out to Megan A., Marie W., Courtney S., and Heather G. for your continued support. If you would like to help support the show and have access to supporter perks like our Discord community chat and ad-free versions of the episodes, head on over to dlweekly.net/support and become an official weekly tier.
Now let's get to the news.
Extra, extra, read all about it. DL Weekly reports from intrepid correspondents Tag and Teresa. You heard it here first, ladies and gents. Breaking news!
We are recording a day earlier than usual this week, so it is Haunted Mansion Holiday Reopening Day. The Haunted Mansion has reopened with a virtual queue only option, with the majority of the queue still under construction. Guests will need to go into the Disneyland app at 7 a.m. or noon to try to snag a spot in the virtual queue. For the 7 a.m. slot, you do not need to be in the park, obviously. You do need to have scanned into one of the parks before securing a spot at the noon time frame. So I know that there's a little bit of confusion with that, but that is how it is going to work for the foreseeable future as far as we know.
The other big thing is, remember, this is just a virtual queue. So this has nothing to do with needing to purchase the Lightning Lane multi-pass or the individual Lightning Lanes. This is something that is open for everyone. You just need to remember to try and secure your spot either at the first release at 7 a.m. or the second release at 12 p.m. When you do these virtual queues, they assign you a random spot and random time to come back to the attraction. Now, the reason why they're doing this is, like Tag mentioned, because most of the queue is still under construction. Actually, from the videos that we saw, which we'll talk about our thoughts on what things look like and all that with the queue and inside, I was surprised how much of the actual queue was open for Mansion. I thought it was going to be kind of just, you're going to just walk straight into the front door, and that was that. They do have a bunch of magic tape outside, which we all know how much we like the magic tape and how well it works for helping people queue up. And it looks like sometimes they need to overflow and use the magic tape. Other times the queue wasn't. It probably has to do with just the beginning of each wave of people's virtual queues coming up is probably the peak, but I'm sure they just have it there just in case, which in the one video we watched, they walked up, nobody was in that magic tape area, and then when they came off the attraction, it was full to the brim, so you just never know. But either way, you've got your spot secured when you've got your virtual queue.
This is a great use of a virtual queue because they literally just don't have the room for it at the moment. And so I think they did a great job. I also want to, we'll talk about it in a minute, like more of our thoughts on it, but I just want to commend the construction people, the Imagineers, for getting this much open for people to be able to enjoy. This kind of reminds me, in a way, of when they got It's a Small World Holiday fixed after the flooding a few years ago. Yeah. That it was like a massive effort to get it open. And so the fact that technically the Halloween season doesn't start till much later next month, and they got it open in July, that's amazing. And they needed it.
And why, may you ask, did they open it this much earlier than when the Halloween? Because everyone was excited that it was for sure going to be open with a virtual queue for the start of the Halloween time and holiday season. But why did they open it earlier? Well, the reason we believe they opened it earlier is something else went down on this side of the park. Pirates of the Caribbean is actually under just a brief 4-day refurbishment. So if you, by taking Pirates out of the picture, you just like wiped out almost the entire west side of the park minus Adventureland.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? I mean, you've got the rafts.
Big Thunder.
You've got the rafts and you've got like the Mark Twain.
Sure.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing. There would have been nothing in New Orleans Square, nothing in Critter Country.
People like Pirates do. So it's good to have another people eater open. But 4 days from now, fingers crossed, Pirates will also be reopened and things will slowly be starting to return to somewhat normalcy on that side of the park. With
Pirates being a very brief refurb, it's likely probably just touching some things up and doing some kind of light enhancement. So we'll keep everyone posted on that as we know more next week. Well, guests that were able to get a virtual queue for the attraction and post videos and photos online allowed us to see what has been updated and changed. The exterior queue feels much like the queue did previously, but the walkway is now wide enough for 3 lines, one for standby, one for Lightning Lane, and one for the ADA exit. The hearse has been moved closer to the entrance, which I think we spied that from someone's construction photo last week, and the detail on the path is really excellent. The Lightning Lane scan points are now closer to the entrance to the mansion itself, where the hearse used to reside.
All right, I have to get your opinion, because we know how much you get into path detail.
Yeah.
What did you think of the path detail?
I'm very happy to report that they have themed the cement. We have themed pavement for the work that they redid in the mansion, which it didn't even have this kind of theming before, but it's just a stamped concrete. It's nothing fancy.
But
it's not
it's
like
better than
pavers,
nothing.
but I think it looks really nice.
It does look really nice.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. We will let you know if it's stamped concrete or if it's pavers, because actually it might be pavers.
I think
either way, it looks very nice.
I think it's the stamped concrete like they do in the rest of New Orleans Square, where it kind of looks like that. How do I say this? I was surprised at how wide they made the queue area, but still kept a decent size of the front lawn.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, from what they've unveiled so far, it doesn't look much, other than the movement of the hearse, it doesn't feel much different than the queue previously. And one of the concerns I had was there is this green lawn, which is part of a stately mansion, and I was worried there wouldn't be much of that left. And here we are, and there is a decent amount still left, so I'm very happy about that. I think they did a great job. They took great care. It looks amazing. This gives me a lot of excitement and hope for what the rest, which is going to be completely new, is going to look like.
Yeah, the rest of the queue, me too. I also want to say I think it makes a heck of a lot more sense, because prior to this, the Lightning Lane scan points were basically just in front of the archway, the entrance to the mansion, and it caused quite the bottleneck right there. And I think it was difficult for cast members to kind of make sure that people were getting scanned and going into the right queues, and it was just kind of a little bit of a mess and a little confusion. And now, with having those scanners closer to the front doors, literally, of the attraction and up by where the hearse had been, as much as I'm sad to see the theming of the hearse being a little bit further away from the mansion, because it did look, there were lots of cool photo shots that you could do to have the hearse like right in front of the mansion, those sorts of things. But it makes a heck of a lot more sense logistically and just queue flow wise to have those up there, because there's now an actual queue for the Lightning Lane, whereas before it would often spill out into the New Orleans Square walkway and kind of wrap around the opposite way from the standby queue did. So that makes a heck of a lot more sense. I was really surprised, really surprised how beautiful this all looks, just in the fact of this was an active construction zone not that long ago. I was not thinking this was going to be put together as well as it is currently. I didn't think we'd be seeing the lawn. I didn't think we'd be seeing the pet cemetery, all of this stuff, but they got it all back in its, wonderful ghoulish glory. So it looks really, really nice.
I feel like it wasn't that long ago that we were seeing pictures from like the top level of the Mark Twain that this was all dirt.
Uh-huh.
And the fact that, but I also want to commend the construction folks who put this back together, because when this is all done, I think people who have not been there for a long time would not think anything
That's
changed.
true.
Like, none of this had been torn out. The fact that all of this was gone and they've replaced all of this and it's all new, all the brick is new, all the paths are new, all the handrails and stuff like that are new, and it looks like it's been there for the 60 or whatever years. Great job.
Yeah, it almost looks like they like uninstalled and I mean, they did that with some of the things like the pet cemetery.
Yeah.
But like the handrails and the bricks and all that, it's very, very, very well done. I'm with you. I'm very excited to see what the rest has to offer and how that's all gonna come together and pull together. Now, for the attraction itself, spoilers ahead if you want to remain spoiler-free for what's going on inside of the mansion. Some of the things that we noticed just on video, everything we saw, we think they did a great job. Of course, we'll be able to better judge when we get to see this in person, just in like 2 weeks, which is wild.
There's also a link to a video in the show notes for anybody who wants to watch it.
But so what are some of the things we noticed? We noticed nothing really in the first part of the attraction. But the second half, of course, we've got the amazing new gingerbread house, which is themed to Dr. Finkelstein from Nightmare Before Christmas. And it's like, it comes a lot like, the movement on this thing is wild. It's basically like they're building a Frankenstein gingerbread person, and there's this mechanism that's like trying to figure out the best head for it, and it spins around and tries different heads. The creature kind of comes to life, and his arm starts kind of, I don't want to say flailing, but moving around.
If you've seen Nightmare Before Christmas, it's very similar to when he's trying to figure out which head for the reindeer that he's trying to make.
Yeah.
So really cool. Other things that I happened to notice were, it seems that the bride is missing in the attic scene, which there's speculation that a new bride could be coming, but we don't know.
But she's not present for the Haunted Mansion holiday version, so we're still anxiously waiting to see if she got any updates.
There's projections instead of the physical boxes and stuff at the end when you're looking in the mirror. Yeah,
so like where the hitchhiking ghosts jump in your doom buggy with you. That they did a really nice job with that. So if you've been on the Walt Disney World version, they're animated and kind of like cartoon looking. This, unless you caught it in the beginning when the item kind of materializes they look and behave the same, but they're much, much more vivid and easier to see.
I also feel like, and this could just be the camera that I'm watching these videos that people have recorded, it does seem like everything is a little brighter, which I think is good, because there are times where like things are kind of, I mean, you want it to be dark and gloomy. It's not so bright that it's not dark and gloomy, but I do feel like you can like see everything now, which is nice.
The other thing we noticed was in the attic scene, they added a new Haunted Mansion holiday scene, and they've got these really cool, fun-themed Jack-in-the-Box props that are actually kind of in front of where the bride typically resides. So that was really fun. There's also, I don't know if this is new, but in the attic, there's also this little, it looks like two animated gingerbread, like people, and they're moving. It looks like they're pumping. What are those things called? The train things?
The little train, the
little pump car things for the trains that you kind of like. It's like a teeter totter. Yeah. Those things. I can't remember what they're called.
There's one at the front of the park too.
Yeah. So that was a little fun animated element that's in the attic. The wax man or the candle man from Rolly Crump still is hidden and tucked in the attic, but that Jack-in-the-Box scene, it looks really good. I really like it because it's one of those things, they put something in a space that you maybe didn't realize didn't have much going on, but having this there really, really adds to the overall of it.
I agree. I think it's overall, I think it looks great. They did a really great job. I'm excited to see it in person.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Well, Haunted Mansion holiday opening is signaling the approaching Halloween season. Magic key holders had the opportunity to purchase some of the new merchandise for the holidays starting July 27th at World of Disney. Some of the items included a Spirit jersey with a tie-dye design, a candy corn-inspired Loungefly bag, a spooky purple tee, which I definitely want this, and a candy corn-inspired ears, and more.
This was really fun. Like it was a fun thing that you got to do if you were a key holder, and the way to find when these little perks and fun things happen is going on the Disneyland app, checking out the Magic Key portal. They will announce these things. Sometimes, like this one, they don't announce it super far in advance. It might just be like a couple of days to a week in advance for some of these cool things, but it was starting on July 27th that you were able to do this. So you can still check. Perhaps they still have things available because it was as long as supplies lasted. So it wasn't like from this day to this day. It was just as supplies lasted. But yeah, you got to find the items, and you got to pick them up same day at the World of Disney in Downtown Disney. So you didn't even have to have a park reservation to go pick up your Halloween merch.
In the app, as we're recording this, which is Monday the 29th, they still have pre-sale opportunity for key holders for World of Disney. Oh, nope, never mind. Update. This pre-sale opportunity has ended.
Oh, sold out.
It'll be available for purchase of select retailers throughout the resort starting on July 30th. So you can get the stuff, just not pre-sale anymore.
Well, in a stunning move, Disney California Adventure is now home to Deadpool and Wolverine. In the movies, Deadpool is a hard R-rated character, but is family-friendly while he's in the park. Together with Wolverine, the Storytime with Deadpool show is very fun to watch and is held in the courtyard of the Hyperion between Guardians and the Hyperion Theater. Deadpool has also shown up in the Awesome Dance-Off and the Avengers Assemble shows in Avengers Campus. You just never know where that guy's going to pop up.
I cannot get over how amazing this little show. It's only 8 to 10 minutes.
And it's been wildly popular.
I hope, one thing I hope that's not related specifically to this, one thing I hope is that Disney sees that these character things are really popular and they bring more entertainment back to the parks, because they've been kind of taking away, and it'd be nice for them to add some back. Man, the Deadpool character, funny.
Yeah.
Family friendly, as we said, because some people were worried that how can you make this character family friendly? Well, he is family friendly. Wolverine shows up, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But not only is it story time, but you also have the Awesome Dance-Off, like we said, and you also have him just hanging out in thing. And he was riding a unicorn at one time. He
was.
And I was like, this is the most Deadpool thing. And I don't know who put this together for Disney or at Disney, but I am here for it, and I hope he hangs out for a good long while, because this is very entertaining and very on brand for the character.
Yeah, they did. They did a nice job, because like we were talking about last week, it was like, oh, how is this going to work? It's hilarious. So some of the stories that he tells, Disney princess stories during story time. So one of the recordings that we watched was he was telling the story of Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and did some acting. So it was almost a little bit, like you were saying, a little bit of mixture of what goes on at the Fantasy Fair Theater, where it's the actors taking they're the storytellers, but also taking parts in their own stories. And yeah, it just looked real fun. He comes out wearing a cardigan. He also had reading glasses on a chain, so he didn't lose his glasses. It was really, really well done. The character, there was character development here for what would it be like if Deadpool were to read a children's story.
And Wolverine shows up.
Yep.
Because they were reading about Beauty and the Beast. And when they brought up the Beast, here comes Wolverine. I don't know. It's very, very cool. I hope that he sticks around, because to me, this could be almost like a Genie character where he can constantly be making more updated jokes and doing different things. And he's so many places, in Avengers Campus, because he's in front of Guardians. He's next to the Hyperion. He's at the Avengers Assembled. I've seen him, video of him just, around. Now, some people online, before he appeared, thought it would be funny because the promotion for this on social media was he was kind of all over DCA. I think it'd be Disney won't do it, but I think it'd be hilarious to have him gallivanting around the entire park.
Oh yeah,
and just I'd love to see him just get in a line with people, or you know what I mean? Like, just because his character would do that. I don't know. Are you excited to see this?
I'm really curious to see this. I believe this will still be going when we're there for D23. But yeah, it's nice that they have these limited time character interactions, and we've been fortunate to be able to be there while some of these are happening. We got to catch Mantis, which that was awesome. I'm actually really sad that Mantis no longer hangs out in Avengers Campus, because she was such a great addition to the awesome dance-off with Star-Lord. And yeah, super great. So I'm really excited to hopefully be able to catch these two as well. So I have like mixed feelings, right? Because being somebody that's not local and we have to travel whenever we go, it's all a timing thing for us. And we're very fortunate that we get to go more frequently than others. So I just feel for people like even James and Vern, they go once a year, maybe twice a year, depending on things. And this would be something they would both enjoy, but like the timing just didn't work out for them. So I do feel it. So it's a double-edged sword for me. I think it's really cool, but also like I wish more people would be able to experience it too.
I agree. Well, more Encanto is coming to the resort, according to a casting call online. There's already a Mirabelle meet and greet, but this call is looking for a Mirabelle who can sing. It is listed as a limited time offering, so it could be for the holidays, or a limited time show, or something completely different. However, any Encanto in the park is better than no Encanto.
So I got so excited for this.
Okay.
So excited for this because I was like, there's no show in the Hyperion. We're looking for a singer for Mirabelle. Encanto would be amazing as like a stage performance in the Hyperion Theater. And then I saw that it was temporary. So I'm not really sure what this is going to be. Somebody online said, and maybe they're correct, there is a like sing-along, dance-along thing with Mirabelle that is new in Epcot. So they're wondering if that little show is going to maybe make an appearance in either, probably DCA would be my guess. If that's what this casting call is going to be, or if this is something totally new. Because the other thing, if you remember, not too long ago, we saw casting calls for I believe it was Luisa lookalikes and Isabella lookalikes. So yeah.
What did that come to be?
It hasn't yet. We haven't seen what that has become. So I don't know if I feel like it must be related, but maybe it's not. I don't know. Because the show in Epcot is, I believe, character-wise, the only characters that come out are Mirabelle and Bruno.
Sure.
So we'll see.
Yeah. I hope it's something cool and good, and more Encanto would be wonderful. More Coco would also be great. They have a lot of Coco already, but it'd be nice to have. They need to put something back in the Hyperion, I'm telling you.
And I thought this was our little hint at what it may be, but the temporary thing makes me think, if they're going to do, I feel like if they're going to do Encanto, or if they're going to do Coco and do it right for the Hyperion, it can't be advertised, it can't be a temporary posting for an actor.
Yeah, a limited run entertainment offering,
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm still excited, whatever this is. Well, in a bit of possible good news for cast members, Disney and the UFCW 324 union have reached an agreement. No details have come out, and the official vote to accept the agreement takes place on July 29th, which is the day we're currently recording this episode. So by the time you're listening, we'll know for sure if it passed or not. Generally, it appears that the proposed 3-year contract contains significant wage increases for all cast members, seniority increases, and additional premiums, as well as the retention of premiums. There's also a possible attendance policy change.
Yeah, so this sounds good. I did see, we do follow a former cast member on Instagram, and I actually watched a video that he posted today talking he wasn't talking to them, but like his video was a message for current cast members, and his recommendation was to not vote for this, but to hold out and get more, because they voted to do something like this a few years ago, and quickly it was outdated because obviously they're fighting for more now. So he's like, look, you have the power. You have made Disney come to the table to bargain with this. they can give you more and will give you more if you stick to it. And so I thought it was really an interesting kind of a take from somebody who's been on the picket lines as a cast member previously. And I saw that this morning, and I thought that was kind of an interesting take because as somebody who's not involved with this, I'm not a cast member. I don't know the specifics of this agreement. It sounded like it was good, but maybe it's not as good as we think it is. I don't know.
So I'm going to preface this by saying we don't know 100% if this is official. So take it as it is. We did have a Hidden Mickey message in what the tentative agreement is.
Oh,
now whether or not this is truly the tentative agreement or not, we have not vetted this, so I'm going to put that out front. This has not been vetted. This is something that was direct messaged to us by a Hidden Mickey. And from what I can see, it looks like the highlights of the new agreement, it will be a 3-year contract, and it's going to take out the 5-year contract that was proposed by Disney, and it's going to be the details of it's going to span over 3 years, but effective, actually post-dated effective, that there's going to be so basically they're going to get an increase of a total of like $6.10, but it's going to be spread out over 3 years. The biggest increase is actually going to be post-dated for them. And the base wage rate is going to be raised to $24 in 2024. And then it's going to, depending on some classifications, it might be more. But the other big thing, too, there's going to be longevity increases for senior cast members, so people that have been a cast member there for a while. And then the attendance policy will give improvements that give cast members more opportunities to attend personal issues without getting any discipline or fearing that they will be disciplined. So on the surface level, again, we don't know if this is the official thing that was sent out to cast members that they are voting on, but that's a little bit of extra information that we were given. Again, take it with what you will. We'll wait until we get that we'll actually see the official details, but it does look like some of the things they're asking for are included in this. So that's good news.
Yeah, this sounds like good news. So we'll find out. I mean, if you're a cast member and you have opinions on this, we would love to hear from you. You don't have to come on the podcast or anything. You can just message us and let us know your opinions, because it'd be interesting to hear the opinions of folks that this directly affects.
Yes.
And I'm glad that Disney is going to pay you guys more.
The thing that I'm really glad about is it doesn't seem like negotiations were drawn out and took very long.
Sure.
So I'm glad that Disney came to the table with something more appropriate soon, rather than kind of this back and forth and kind of leaving everyone in limbo.
Well, in some parks adjacent news, Hocus Pocus fans have a unique opportunity in Salem, Massachusetts. On September 20th, fans can enter the Old Town Hall for an exclusive I Put a Spell on You masquerade. The party will feature a DJ dance party, bars, souvenir gift bags, and, of course, live performances by the Sanderson sisters. I don't know if this is going to be the actresses or not, or just people as Sanderson sisters.
No, I think it's just,
But that would be cool. That would be cool. A limited number of early bird tickets are on sale at the link in our show notes, starting at $150 plus fees for general admission and $215 plus fees for VIP admission, which includes an autographed copy of the book Hocus Pocus in Focus, a photo op with the Sanderson sisters, and more.
So for those of you that don't know, the Old Town Hall in Salem, Massachusetts is actually the filming location for the Halloween party that the adults were all at, that the Sanderson sisters sang and put their spell on. So I think that's even like the coolest part. This is the filming location of the Halloween ball, and they're going to kind of like recreate that for the fans. So fun.
It does sound very fun. I wish we could go to this.
Teleporter, man. If we had teleporters, or if we had brooms, mops, or enchanted vacuum cleaners that we could fly on to get over there, we'd be set.
Enchanted vacuum cleaners.
Now this event, it's not officially put on by Disney, but still.
Yeah.
How fun.
Love it.
For this week's SnackChat, we are still in New Orleans Square, and we are heading on over to the newest place in town. Of course, that is Tiana's Palace. We were very, very we were kind of late to this game ourselves to go try. I don't remember how many trips we took before we went over.
It was a couple.
And man, don't do that. Don't be us. Don't sleep on Tiana's Palace because it's quickly becoming one of our go-tos.
But also, do like we did for one of them, which is you don't have to mobile order here. In the beginning,
Right.
There was a large line. People got into the habit of mobile ordering, and when we were there, you could just walk right on in and pick up your food and check out and go. So,
in fact, it would have been faster if we would have done that the last time we were there rather than waiting for mobile order. In the time that we got to the location, hit I'm here, and then waited for it to be done, we could have already been eating. Isn't that's crazy? But anyways,
yeah.
Great menu there. They do serve for lunch and dinner, and the entrees include all sorts of delicious things, including house gumbo, 7 Greens chicken gumbo with chicken and andouille sausage, a Cajun half-spiced chicken, which is one of the things I tried. This was delicious.
They have a muffaletta sandwich, a beef po' boy sandwich, my favorite thing at the place, the Gulf shrimp and grits, which people have reported that it's kind of spicy. I am really sensitive to spice, and I did not think it was that spicy at all. You can also get a muffaletta salad. You can get a half a muffaletta sandwich, which serves 2 to 3 people, or a whole muffaletta sandwich, which serves 4 to 6 people.
Is that new and we just didn't know about that? I don't remember the big sandwiches there.
I feel like I remember something about this, but I couldn't tell you.
I just remember the panini that was giant that could serve, that was multiple people servings. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then also I have tried the muffaletta salad. That was really good because we went there when we were there in June. Everyone else was really hungry. I wasn't all that hungry, but wanted something. So I tried. They had a side salad version of the muffaletta salad, which was like perfect, but it was great. It was the sandwich in a bowl, basically, instead of on bread. It was really, really delicious. Same thing with the Cajun spice half chicken. I would recommend. This is a shareable one. It was quite a big portion, but it was delicious. It's brushed with a barbecue sauce that had really great flavor. It didn't have like spicy heat to it at all, just flavor spice, and it was served with baked macaroni and cheese with a side of coleslaw. It was very, very enjoyable, but a very generous portion for that.
Also, their buttermilk cornbread I thought was amazing. You don't need to put, in my opinion, honey or anything on, because I thought it was perfectly sweet and everything.
It was very moist too.
Very good. Did you try the chicory cold brew here?
I did try the chicory cold brew. It's one of my new favorites.
Did you also try the lavender lemonade?
I did not try the lavender lemonade. Just the cold brew. It was a really good cold brew. So the chicory cold brew is kind of more of a classic coffee. So it's got the sweet from the cream and then the coffee flavor. So it's kind of more like that. It doesn't have a lot of the other extra additional flavorings that other specialty coffees and cold brews have around the park. So if you're looking for something that's kind of more of a just like an iced coffee or a cold brew coffee with cream, this is a great one to pick.
They also, of course, have the house-filled beignet, which I have not had because I don't like lemon. But I've also heard that people have said that the beignets at the mint julep window are better than this beignet.
Well, because this beignet, it's not. I haven't gotten the feeling that it's served like warm and flaky and fresh like the other ones do, because they have to take the time to fill it.
Sure.
And then there's a glaze on it as well. I still think maybe we should try it just to see for ourselves.
I mean, I did try that lemon something or other at the food thing, and I thought it was really good.
Really
so maybe it'll be the same with this. Who knows?
I do want to mention there is a plant-based option here as well. It's the 7 Greens gumbo. So the gumbo comes with white beans, okra, yams, sweet potatoes, and heirloom rice. Vern got this the last time we were there, and he super enjoyed this. So this was a great option as well. I'm just thinking about being at the parks on like a cool fall evening or like a winter day, having gumbo while sitting. Oh, just warms you up from the inside.
And finally, for the there's Disney's Kids Check Meals, which has a roasted chicken drumstick or a toasted ham and cheese sandwich, or there's a kids meal, which is baked macaroni and cheese.
which I believe is what James got.
I think James got the baked macaroni and cheese, and he thought it was pretty okay.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely go to Tiana's Palace for sure.
And I would suggest, the other thing I would say too is with any mobile order versus getting, standing through, it's always going to be fresher. I will use that in air quotes, fresher tasting or like warmer when you pick it up yourself and go through the standby versus when you do the mobile order. So like when we did the mobile order, that's when I got the little side salad. It was a great portion, but it was a tiny container. So it was actually a little difficult to try and eat my salad out of the little plastic container that it came on. I much would have rathered having a plate to be able to eat it. And same thing, I think, with like your shrimp and grits was like...
It felt like a smaller portion size, even though it probably wasn't. It just felt that way. If you want like real plates and silverware, don't mobile order at this location.
The better like presentation of it because, it's real plates.
All right. Well, we would just want to remind everybody once again, this should be one more week of us talking about this. We do have a meetup coming up for D23. So if you're going to be at the D23 Ultimate Fan event, please consider coming and meeting us on Sunday, August 11th at the Lazy Dog Restaurant, which is on 1623 West Catella Avenue in Orange, California. This is going to be at 7 p.m. to when they close. We're going to meet out on the patio. It is a free event to attend. Food and drink are your responsibility. It is within walking distance of the Honda Center, so if you do attend the Honda Center presentation and want to just walk over, you can, because that's what we're going to be doing. If you are driving over, there is free parking. We are also doing this as a dual meetup with Terry's Tribe. Who is Terry, you might ask? Well, special guest Imagineer Terry Harden. It is her group. Like we have Weekly Tiers, she has Terry's Tribe. So it will be a dual meetup. Once again, Sunday, August 11th, 7 p.m. to close, Lazy Dog Restaurant. We hope to see you there.
It's going to be so much fun.
Reminder for all Weekly Tiers. These questions can feel like a high-speed roller coaster type ride in the dark, with self-high fives, sudden drops, and stumps. Follow all pre-launch procedures, including stowing hats, glasses, and all loose possessions in the cargo pouch located directly in front of you.
Welcome to Trivia Land, where we've got a mix of some of my questions, some listener-submitted questions. We got all kinds of questions, but do you have answers? How we feeling tonight?
I mean, that's always the question. Do we have the answer?
You know what? I normally say that I don't feel very confident, but you know what? I'm going to change things around today. I'm going to say, we're got it all. Done. We're going to get this.
I am loving the confidence. Let's go with it.
Yep.
All right. So I was going through my phone, and I found my questions that I had written when we were last in the parks, all of us together, and I said, I need to clear these out of here. We're just going to knock them all out tonight. And then I also found some great listener-submitted questions that I've been looking at for a bit and really wanted to ask, so here we go.
Perfect.
Your first one is what queue am I in? So your first hint for what queue am I in? There are Captain America shields on the wall. Do you know what queue you're in?
Multiple?
I mean, I feel like the only one that I can think of that has Captain America shields on the wall, well, I mean, it could be Guardians, or it could be Web Slingers. But see, I did not ride Web Slingers this time, so I feel like I'm at a disadvantage. But I'm going to say, tentatively, I'm going to say Web Slingers.
All right, your second clue. There's a sign on the wall that says Research Facility.
Yes.
And the sign kind of looks like a UFO.
Yeah, I'm going to say Web Slingers.
Yeah, Web Slingers. Locking it in.
You're locking it in Web Slingers.
Woo.
Okay.
See? Already feeling good, Teresa.
Your third clue. There are license plates wrapped around all the posts in the queue. Not all the posts, but many of them.
What?
Is this Radiator Springs Racers? Is there a Captain America shield at Radiator Springs Racers?
I'm still locked in. I'm still staying.
Wait a minute. Is it Luigi's tires? No, they don't have any license plates around the
Remember the Captain America and the research lab part.
Okay.
It was clues 1 and 2.
Sure. That's true. Okay. Yep, we're sticking with it.
You're sticking with Web Slingers? And your fourth and final clue, there are road signs on the walls.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's Web Slingers.
You're locked in at web
You
slingers.
can change if you want.
I just want to let you know that I have not ridden web slingers since like 3 trips ago or whatever. So
I enjoy it.
I think we rode it. The last time I rode it was like the first, maybe second trip after it had opened.
Where were you and what were you and James doing?
You guys
was that one of the nights?
James was with you, I think, because he was telling me about it later. Because he was texting me and Vern was texting me because I was.
That was when the website was being wonky. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, because we ate breakfast and then I went back to the hotel to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's right.
Yeah. All right, so final answer, web slingers.
I think so.
Locking it in.
Sorry, dang right it is.
Yes, loving the optimism.
Where's the confidence?
All right. Your second question comes from listener Ryan P. Every attraction has a sign that reads, "Documents related to the certificate of compliance for this attraction may be viewed at City Hall and Town Square." One attraction in Frontierland holds a hidden piece of history related to Walt's family. Which attraction is it, and what is special about this signage?
Oh! Sorry. It's Big Thunder Mountain, and I don't remember what the sign is, but it's a reference to Lillian's father, so Walt's father-in-law.
Oh. How does that relate to documents for this attraction, blah, blah?
I don't know. Maybe it has nothing, but that's my answer.
Vern, is the documents thing at all related to, or is it just also a sign?
It's specifically the documents certificate of compliance sign. One of those signages in Frontierland has a hidden piece of history related to Walt's family.
Oh.
Sure. But that could still be Big Thunder with stuff like that.
It.
Yeah, it could still be.
A thing about that sign is significant to Walt's family history.
Okay, I'm going to stick with it. I don't know if it's right or not, but that's all I got. Unless there's like some like the shooting gallery, maybe there's something.
So to clarify, Teresa, your answer was Big Thunder Mountain and
there's some it's a reference to, it's like a character name, but it's a character name or a place, but it's referencing Lillian's father or Walt's father-in-law.
Okay.
Could it have been so I'm just gonna murky the water here. Could it be the Mark Twain? And like wherever the sign is, there's also like a picture of Walt and Lillian because they had their anniversary thing on there. I'll say that. So Mark Twain for me. Because on that same wall or whatever, there could be a picture. You know what I mean? Like it could be similar.
Okay, so we're dividing. We've got Mark Twain with a picture of Walt and Lily, and we've got Big Thunder Mountain, something about Lillian's father.
Sure.
All right.
I mean, sorry. Yes, 100%.
Yes. Optimism.
No, I was just laughing at how like spatter against the wall my answer sounded compared to yours when he did that little rap. I'm like, something about this.
Alrighty.
There's a tickle in my brain.
Your third question is another one from me. In which queue will you meet Lunella Lafayette?
What was the name again?
Lunella Lafayette.
Isn't that Web Slingers?
Maybe. Isn't Lafayette like... Oh, that's Lafayette. That's not Lafitte's. You think that's Web Slingers again?
I think so, because there's all those little bios.
One more time, Vern.
Because I'm pretty sure...
In which queue will you meet Lunella Lafayette?
I'm almost positive.
Which queue will you meet her? Which, I mean, I guess it'd be like a bio, right? Because they have all those bios of all the... Sure.
Isn't Lunella Lafayette the... Oh, gosh, now I don't remember. But she's the Marvel character with the dinosaur. And she roller skates.
Oh. Moon Girl.
Moon Girl, yes.
And Devil Dinosaur, or whatever it was.
I'm pretty sure that's... Yes.
Sure. I will go with Web Slingers, fine.
You're gonna hop on my roller skates?
I'm gonna spin my web to your building or whatever.
You're getting in what do they call the web cars?
Oh yeah. What do they call the cars in the attraction? The something. Anyways.
Okay. So you're both saying web slinger?
As a bonus question, what's the ride vehicle for that attraction?
Fail.
How'd you know that was the bonus tonight?
Oh, Lord.
Fail. Just mark it down as fail.
And your fourth and final regular round question from listener Sarah P. What were the original car colors of the People Mover when the attraction first opened in 1967?
Oh.
When it first
they
opened?
were different than later.
And if you need a hint, there are 4.
Yellow, like a mustard.
Was there like that pea green? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I don't know if there was. There was mustard, like a yellow mustardy kind of color. There was blue, like a light blue, I want to say. There was red, and there was another color.
Green.
I don't think there was a green.
Was it like a gray?
It might have been green. Like this color green?
Oh, I thought they were more muted, and maybe I should not think that because
the second version, they were white, and then they had stripes of color.
Yeah.
So, like, I remember one that had, like, a purple stripe, and one had a red stripe, and one had a blue stripe. But I think I don't think they were, like, muted. They were, like, pastel colors.
Yeah. More muted than the stripes. Those were brighter.
Correct.
Yeah.
Those were, like, primary colors. That's why I'm saying, like, the yellow was, like, kind of like a mustardy. It was a little off. The blue was, like, a lighter blue.
I think the green was kind of a little... I don't know. I'm stuck on the green. Being a little...
Well, say green.
Yeah, green.
Sure, we'll say green for the fourth one.
Okay, so your final answer is yellow, blue, red, and green?
Yes.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Of course it is, Vern. What other answer would it be?
That's right. And your bonus question tonight, the final question off of my questions I wrote down the last time we were there. Where are Luigi's cousins from?
Oh. Dang it.
Italy.
Oh.
More specifically, please.
Yeah, I was going to say. I'm like, can we get away with just saying Italy?
No.
Oh.
Like, is this like a town or region name, or?
I believe it's the town.
Okay.
It is spoken, it is sung about, and there are postcards and greetings from. It's plastered all over the place.
AKA, there's no reason we shouldn't know this, probably.
Probably.
Oh.
Are one of them from, like... I feel like it's going to be like a known
They're all
place.
from the same place.
Okay, they're all from the same place. That's helpful.
Oh, so are they from, like... I'm just thinking of, like, areas of Italy. Like, are they from Sicily? Are they from Naples? Are they from Rome?
That's a question.
I'm going to go with Sicily.
But remember, you're in Cars Land, so everything gets a car-themed name.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, boy.
Thank you for that. So even, like, the cities they're from sound like they're car-themed.
Yes.
Okay. It's a spin on an Italian city.
Oh, goodness. I don't know enough about cars. Not even, like, the movie, just, like, cars in general.
Yeah. My brain's not being creative right now to be like, oh. But if you take Rome, sounds very similar to road, but it wouldn't be road Italy.
They're from road Italy.
Yeah, that's not a good one. Like Sicily,
Vern, I was so dang confident.
Can
and
we
you were doing
I know
great.
it's a bonus question, but can we look up and can we look at Italian city names and see if we can?
By all means.
Okay.
Are you just going to look at a map of Italy or just names?
Does not help.
Oh, wow. It's an actual town.
Oh.
It's a village in Abruzzo, Italy.
Perhaps we shouldn't look then. Oh, yeah, Pisa. How do we forget Pisa?
Do you think it'd be like Turin? Like turn?
Could be.
Or, let's see.
Well, if it's a real city, we probably shouldn't be looking at lists.
I'm just looking at a map.
I think I'm stumped. Foggia. I'm going to go with that one.
Foggia?
Yep.
Take as long as you need. I'm going down a rabbit hole reading about the actual town.
Okay.
Foggia makes me think of like fog light because I'm trying to think what the car, what he thought there was a car. So you thought there was a car? You thought it was a car reference?
It totally is.
It gives the vibes.
But it's an actual town too.
Okay, well, I'm not zooming in too far. So if it's not one of the bigger places in Italy, then I'm gonna fail. But
it's an ancient Roman city.
You know what? I'm just gonna go with. I'm gonna make our exchange student happy. I'm gonna go with the town he currently lives in, which is Padua.
Oh, there you go.
Which has nothing to do with cars, but that's a thing. Padua, Italy. Padua.
All
I have
right.
no idea.
Padua, final answer.
For me.
And Teresa, you
What did you
towing
go
your
with?
car with that?
What did you pick?
I haven't picked anything.
Oh, she went back.
It's too hard.
Please.
Oh, no, I did have one. Foggia was what I was going to do.
Foggia. Foggia. Foggia.
Foggia.
All right, Foggia. Final answer.
Sounds great.
All righty.
No, I'm changing my answer.
You're changing your final answer.
Because there's one that looks like a character in the Cars Land thing. It's Materia. So it looks like Mater.
Okay.
I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
Matera. All right.
Matera.
Okay, so final answers Padua and Matera.
Man,
Yeah.
I butchered that. I'm sorry.
Well, listeners, how do you think they did? How did you do listening at home? Stick around until after the discussion, and we can all find out together.
Well, for this week's discussion topic, we continue our chat with illustrator, visual development artist, and Disney Lorcana artist, Casey Robin.
So you just talked a lot about like how you came about with Yzma. Can you talk about that with Tiana and Cinderella too? Because it's just like Tiana looks like she's like floating.
She looks like she's floating and like angelic. It's almost like, and maybe this is what it's supposed to be, is like mid transformation.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a neat idea. I hadn't thought of it that way. I think the thing with Tiana was I wanted to just have this moment of pure self-acceptance, of like pure love. And then she's now become outside the princess that she always was, this true princess, right?
Yeah.
And then the dress is sort of a reward for going through this journey. And then my personal art is very ethereal, very airy, very floaty. And I wanted to bring some of that to Tiana and make it my version of Tiana, because I think that dress is so pretty and it doesn't get a lot of screen time. And so I decided when Edgar, my art director at that one, proposed the idea of setting it at twilight, because I'm like, oh, you could see the fireflies much better at twilight.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, oh, it's like they're kind of floating her along across the bayou, and like it's just like they're just little magic pixies, you know. And I just wanted this feeling, this ethereal feeling, which doesn't. My art tends not to make a lot of very logical sense. It tends to be very emotion driven, which I think is why I'm drawn to Disney stuff, because it kind of puts the emotion first and logic second.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was trying to give kind of an emotional portrait of Tiana in this moment of this very like quiet moment of triumph. You know, he's had it pretty rough for most of the movie, and like finally she's getting a nice reward. You know, and also I think her dress, for the record, I think is the most beautiful Disney princess dress out of all of them, which is, you know,
the theming on her dress is just amazing. It's so
I
good.
love Lorelai Beauvais' explorations of her dress. There are so many really fun ways they could have gone, and I do think they ended up with a really excellent, iconic design. And like I said, I love her at the park too, so I have a connection to Tiana there as well, and she's always wearing that dress, and I'm like, oh, exciting. And then as far as Cinderella, I did two Cinderellas. So one is the Enchanted Cinderella, the ballroom sensation, and I was thrilled to get the assignment, of course, because, you know, Cinderella is kind of my girl. Like, I feel like she's underappreciated. She's come under a lot of bad faith criticism from people who haven't watched the movie in a long time, who think that her story is about finding a man, and I disagree with that reading of the story. I think it's about always knowing who you are and staying true to yourself and remaining kind in difficult circumstances and not repaying evil for evil.
Yeah,
and
that's very true.
not being nasty back to people who are nasty to you, because that would have dragged her down to their level, if she had just been mean right back at them. Yep. She does actually stand up for herself on a number of occasions in the movie, so brief defense of Cinderella.
Well, and she just wants to go to the ball to have a good time. She's not trying to meet the prince. It just kind of happened.
It happens because he sees her as she is, you know?
Yeah.
This very beautiful soul. So anyway, I have a childhood love of Cinderella, and I've always loved foofy dresses. I've always I used to judge dresses based on two metrics, fluff and twirl, and if they had a lot of both, then we were in business. So with the Enchanted Cinderella, immediately I'm like, what am I going to do with the dress? And so I wanted to keep it light and airy and kind of brushy and expressive, because I feel like there's a ton of Disney princess art of Cinderella twirling in her dress, but it's always really tied down lines. It's always lots of line work. It's not often very emotive or expressive or brushy. It's always very controlled, beautifully often, but I wanted to suggest rather than describe her skirt, with big brushy strokes. I also, because it was an amber card, they asked me to set it, I think, in the Illuminary. So I looked at the reference for the Lorcana Illuminary, which has these beautiful big golden ambery windows, like Art Nouveau swirly windows, and I'm just I want it to be like a super blown out, almost stained glass window behind her, and this feeling of light suffusing the whole scene. I want that to be special. And then I also realized that it was a great opportunity to paint a lot of fairy dust, a lot of really beautiful fairy dust. So I planned out in big gestural strokes my trails of dust, and then I went in with a little sharp brush and made each one into little sparkles. And then I studied her face very carefully. I did drawovers and studies and a bunch of different, drawings of her from the original film. I pulled Mark Davis's drawings of her, the rough animation. I pulled some, what do you call them, model sheets that were used in the film, and I studied them.
Wow.
Because it's a different way than we draw today, and it's a different style of drawing than the Disney Renaissance drawing that I grew up with. It was heavily based on photostats. It was a more realistic style of drawing that they were aiming for then. And so making her eyes too big doesn't make her look like Cinderella, But as far as the moment, just pure joy, just pure golden effervescent joy. After so much darkness, she has a moment of joy. And then the other one, I can't remember the name of it offhand.
It's also Ballroom Sensation, just not the Enchanted Rare.
The non-enchanted one, where she's stepping out of the pumpkin coach, and that was their suggestion. That was in the brief. My thought was it's the first time she's seeing the palace up close, and so it's that moment of wow, yay, I'm here, oh my gosh,
I will say that on this card, I'm looking at it right now, my immediate attention is drawn to her face.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely tried to make the face a clear read and to make the emotion, soft and subtle, but definitely wow.
Yeah.
I'm finally here. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It's a little bit like how I feel, I'm finally here at a point in my career where I'm being trusted with these things.
Yeah. I'm just looking at even the background, because we've got an image of the card up on our screen, so you can so we're seeing it bigger than what the physical cards are. The detailing in the background even gives you feels from the movie, the color palette and the swooping, I don't know, the swooping magic dust or whatever it is in the background.
Yeah, I tried to use the shape language and colors from the film.
Yeah.
I mean, Emperor's New Groove, I pulled shapes from the film. I tried to get in that headspace. I'm doing more Lorcana in the future, and for each one, I do a study of the movie.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah. That was gonna be a future question, was are you gonna do any more? So we got that answer.
I am. It's already in the works. I'm not allowed to talk about specifics.
Right.
Yes, I will do more. So give it a while and you'll see.
So to roll off of what Teresa just asked, or not asked, but kind of mentioned. So these cards are tiny. How big is your artwork that you create for this before it gets? I assume you're not making it, 2 by 3 inches.
Well, here's a funny story. Oh, this isn't going to make me look very good. The first time I did Tiana, I did do that. I painted it way too small, and I didn't realize that I had done that until it had been approved. And then I got this email one day that made my stomach drop, where it's like, "Hey, you painted it like really small. Like, where's the high res version?" I'm like,
"Oh no,
that is the high res." Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, so thankfully, all I had to do, they were able to salvage the paint layers, thank God, and then I just re-inked it. So it wasn't actually that bad. All I had to redo was the line work. Oh my goodness. I felt so stupid. But no, you do them pretty high res. You do them at like, it's a large format file, and it's to the proportions of the card, and you paint further than what you need for the card so that it doesn't get cropped weird,
Oh.
But I do treat them as big, full illustrations, but I also realize they're going to be tiny. So it's good to like zoom out, or keep the little navigator open while you're painting and make sure that everything reads crystal clear. Because little fiddly details or anything that doesn't have enough contrast is going to get lost at that small scale. So I try to make sure that the pose is really clear, the silhouette's really clear, and this is all stuff that's baked into the Disney style already. I'm just trying to make sure that I am really mindful of that, especially once I saw my cards at real size. I'm like, oh, it's so tiny. So now I think my future cards will be better in terms of being a clear read immediately.
I don't know. I think these ones are
awesome.
pretty amazing.
Oh, thank you. Well, I like to think that I get a little bit better with each one. Although I do think there was something magical about that first Tiana. That was just
it feels like a magical scene.
Yeah.
I mean, even just the lighting on the trees and the different colors that the leaves are, it's almost like a little rainbow off to the side there. It's just, it's just a very magical image.
I think maybe it was just also I was so excited just to be doing that, be doing Tiana in her pretty dress, and that they trusted me with it, and that they wanted me and they wanted something of my style. That was all very heartening to me as an artist. So I guess it came through.
From beginning of the project to end, when the cards were, I don't know, when you got to see the final product, what's the time frame for something like this? Because I mean, like we said, they're getting printed to little small things, but the details on these cards are just incredible. Like, I play and I get distracted by the artwork on the cards sometimes.
That's so you.
Yes. Oh, it's me too. Honestly, I don't keep track because I always have like multiple projects running at once. So I'm like, okay, I have to finish this thing so that I can then do the next part of the Lorcana thing and get them that. And I'm always doing that. So like, it'll come out and I will be like, oh, did it come out? Okay, great. But about a year, I don't know. I really don't keep track. I really, really don't, because I'm always busy and I'm always doing the next thing. If I were to sit and wait for it, it would probably feel like a very long time, but I don't have time for that.
Was there anything else you wanted to share about Lorcana?
Yeah. One thing I really love about Lorcana is that the community of the artists who work on it are so nice. They're so supportive. They're like some of the nicest community of artists that I've encountered in my career, which is saying a lot because I've encountered a lot of really nice artists. But it's been wonderful to be a part of that. And I'm so grateful for how positive the artists have made that environment, and also how positive and chill the fan base is. Like, they're excited about it, but they're very nice and respectful when I meet them. They're very kind. And it's such a healthy fan community. I'm really grateful for that. And it's a healthy artist community. So I'm grateful for that too.
Oh, that's super awesome. That was actually going to be my next question, was you've gotten to do, like, since this has come out, and just with your artwork in general, you've gotten to do a lot of different conventions, and some of them are kind of with the Disney theme, like we mentioned. We met you at Disneyana. You did Dapper Day as well. So can you kind of talk about the convention side of things?
Sure. Well, I've been doing Dapper Day for years just because I love vintage fashion, and I bring my own original stuff to Dapper Day as well as some Disney fan art. So that's not new for me. But what is new is doing trading card shows. That's a completely new world to me. I know nothing of this world. I've only been 2 shows where I'm there as a Lorcana artist specifically, where I'm there to sign my Lorcana cards and do drawings and talk about them. But it's been really fun. It's a little surreal. I get nervous signing my stuff because I feel weird about charging money for a signature. And yet, if I did not, that would undercut the other artists in Lorcana who, like, it becomes a part of your income, you know? So, like, maybe you only make a little bit on the front end, but then you make more on the back end, and it actually really supports many independent artists. So I don't want to do anything to undercut that market. So so I have to charge for my signature, which feels so strange because I've signed stuff before, but charging money for it feels really weird to me. So that's a little strange. But then it's very cool to get to meet people who love the game, people who love Disney, people who maybe love the same characters I do for the same reasons. I've had some really fun conversations with fellow fans. You know, like if I find out someone is into Treasure Planet, we're immediately off to the races talking about what we like, what we change, you know, the public perception, how it shifted, la la la, you know, or Ariel, like, why is she so special, you know? And then the other fun thing, beyond just meeting nice people who like a lot of the same stuff I do, is I've started drawing little sketches of Disney characters for people just to keep me busy in between the cards. And it's so fun because people request characters that I would never think to draw, like Shere Khan. You know, I'm like, oh, I've never drawn Shere Khan. Sure, I'll try. And, you know, I pull up some reference because I don't know how to draw them off the top of my head. But it's awfully fun because I feel like I'm kind of stepping into the shoes of the old Disney artists who I respected so much and who I love so much. And so much of my training was with the purpose of becoming, like, quote, a Disney artist. You know, I have done all of the work of life drawing and gesture drawing and all of that stuff. And then, you know, in the early 2000s, when 2D kind of evaporated, went away, died in America, I'm still angry about that. That dream, like, where does it live? You know, where does it go? You know? Still have the same impulse. And so I shifted to pre-production. I'm doing, you know, storyboards and character design and that kind of thing. But there is this part of me that just wants to draw like a Disney artist, you know? And so it's been a fun exercise there. And it makes me feel kind of good about myself because, like, I worked hard to gain those skills and I can't help it that the market, you know, doesn't support them in that same way anymore. But it is kind of it's nice for them to find a life outside of just my dreams, you know?
If people are listening to this and they are younger and they want to become an artist or do kind of some of the stuff like you've been doing, maybe down the road they want to draw some Lorcana cards or something like that, what advice would you give to somebody who, like, doesn't know how to really get started?
Well, it takes a really long time. But you're not waiting all of that time. It's journey time, you know? It's like Lord of the Rings, right? It takes a long time. But while you're going, you're doing stuff and you're having experiences. So I used to, you know, hear stuff like that and be like, oh, I'm going to have to wait 10 or 15 years before my life starts. That's awful. But it's not like that. It's like all along the way, you're making art, you're meeting people, you're doing stuff. I think it's very important to get the fundamentals down. I think it's really, truly important to draw from life, to keep a sketchbook, to draw gestures by hand. Get off your tablet. Like, yes, be on your drawing software for some of that time because it's important as a marketable skill to be able to draw digitally, to paint digitally. That's great. It's very, very necessary for the world that we live in. So I'm not saying don't do that, but I do think part of what allows me to make this art and to make these characters come to life is all the time I put in at the Life Drawing Studio, all of the times that I was drawing animals in the park, all of the extra work I put in learning real art. You know, I went to Italy for half a year and studied drawing and painting and sculpture and illustration and, you know, to really get the fundamentals down. Then you have a toolkit that no one can take away from you. And no matter how, you know, trends change or times change, you've got like a strong foundation of drawing. That's so important because it will allow you to express yourself. If you only learn one style of drawing that you learn off of like TikTok and you're like, I'm really good at this specific anime style of drawing and nothing else, then it's cool to have that, but if that's all you have and you want to express something that doesn't work in that style, like how are you going to do it?
Yeah.
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 So give yourself the power of learning how to express from life, use the illusion of life, so that you can then make your own characters, your own toys, your own merchandise. Lorcana, you could do books, you can do anything. It's amazing if you have this power of knowing how to create a good solid picture. There are so many applications. It's so easy to get discouraged along the way. I often feel discouraged. I think most artists do. And that never, like, the fear of not being good enough, for me at least, and all my friends, never quite goes away. Like, you've got more evidence when you're older to be like, oh, I can do this because I did that,
Yeah.
But I know that fear, so don't expect that to ever go away. Just push through. Just like go like la 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 la. I love art. I love art more than I'm afraid of art, and therefore I will make art. And I think anything you make on your artistic journey is valid. Like everything from dorky fan art to comics you draw for your friends to a picture of your cat to, something gorgeous. It all helps you become who you are. And I wouldn't say that drawing art for Lorcana is like the best goal if you're an artist starting out right now, because who knows how long this will last?
Yeah.
Who knows how long these things last? You might not be there by the time it wraps up, but let that like spur you on to great artistic heights. So it's like, okay, maybe you shoot for Lorcana, but like me, I wanted to do hand-drawn animation. Well, that dried up before I got to do it. Okay, well, what's happening in books? What's happening in indie animation? What's happening in pre-production? How can I rechannel that stuff? I would say just don't become a slave to one specific goal, but use that goal as like inspiration and fuel to make a lot of art. And once you make a lot of art and show it, you have to show it too if you want people to hire you. So go to conventions, show it on the internet, have a website, eventually, all that stuff. If you don't show your art, you will not get hired. I'm just saying. So make stuff and show it. And it's okay that you're not perfect because you'll never be perfect. And it's okay to suck at the beginning. They say you have 10,000 bad drawings in you before you start to get to the good ones. So get them out. And when you do a bad drawing, laugh and do another one. That's what I do. I
use it as a learning opportunity.
Just be like, ha ha ha. It does not make you a bad artist or a bad person that you made a bad drawing. And who's to say what's bad anyway?
Exactly.
I've been watching Dr. Katz. It's an old 90s animated sitcom, and the drawing style is really scribbly amateurish, and it is so funny, and it's perfect. I wouldn't want it to look any better than it does. So like there's always a place for things that don't look perfect and beautiful. And then like just be really, really, really careful when it comes to comparing yourself to other people. I would say don't. It's kind of hard not to. But if you must compare yourself to others, try to use it as fuel, to push past your fear to make that work you want to make. But it's such a trap to go online and look at someone who's got a ton of followers and is like way further ahead than you, because it makes your efforts feel so peewee and it makes you want to give up. Don't give up, because the only way to get there is to not give up. That's a rambling answer, but I mean, my career has been rambling, so it's fitting.
So outside of the Lorcana cards, you said that you have been going to Dapper Day. So can you kind of talk about just your art in general and other projects and things that you create?
Yeah, I'd be delighted to. Thank you. Yes, I love making original art. I love making my own stuff. The thing I'm kind of focused on right now is a little hashtag I like to do called March of the Fairies, where in March I draw fairies, and I've been tapping into my inner Arthur Rackham for that. And it's been a great way to explore the world of plants and botanical drawing, because I love drawing plants, but I always want to add a figure. And so perfect, fairies. And so I'm very pleased with my work on that, and I'm planning to do more. I also just like to do little one-off things that are just fun. I have a series of like cute witches, kind of inspired by Bewitched, called Every Witch. I want to do more cats. I want to do girls with cats. I have a lot of ideas. I've been doing a lot of work for clients, so I haven't had a ton of time for my own work. But I have found that going to conventions has been super helpful for my career and for me as an artist. I'm an introvert and need time alone to recharge. So conventions are exhausting, but I also love people and I love talking and I love seeing people react to my work. So in that way, conventions are energizing. When I was starting out, I did a lot of fan art. I did like Harry Potter fan art, like back in 2010 or something. Long time ago. Long time ago. I did like My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic stuff. I loved that fandom. But I've since kind of moved towards more of my own stuff because it's just exciting to be able to make something that's all yours. I would say if you're young, starting out, and you're thinking about going for a convention, I would say do it with some caveats. Make sure that you don't spend more money than you can afford to lose. Just assume you're not going to make any money. If it helps, split a table with a friend. That really helps both with the financial and with the emotional burden. When I was starting out, I was really scared. And so I would have a friend and be like, okay, it's okay. Your friend's going to be there. And then I would say, I love making prints at home. I invested in a fine art printer. So if you can, that's been great for me.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an initial investment, but over time you have more control over your prints and your print schedule, and the profit margins are much better because you're not paying anyone for their services. You know, you're providing the labor. And for me, I just like having that fine level of control over my prints. Anyway, what I was leading up to was don't bring too much, you know, say 5 each of 5 different images and a QR code with your website and a business card is plenty for a first table. It's more about getting to meet people. And you'll meet people at conventions who are doing cool things. So many of the jobs I have were people who met me at conventions and we started chatting.
Awesome. Yeah.
And you find, there's creative people all over the world who are doing all kinds of things. And then as far as other stuff I'm doing, I have had a really wonderful creative collaboration with Jerica Cleland, she calls herself a narrative alchemist. So she's, a storyteller, a director, an artist in her own right. And she, her history is she started at Pixar from I think it was A Bug's Life through Up. And then was doing cinematography there. And then wanted to direct, kind of looked at the line of people who were going to direct Pixar. It's a bunch of dudes in line ahead of her. And she's like, eh. And so, went to more international ventures and has worked on wonderful movies like Song of the Sea, one of my favorite animated movies of all time. Wolfwalkers, an excellent film not enough people have seen. Go watch Wolfwalkers. It's really beautiful. It'll make you cry. Calamity Jane, all these things. So we are working on her original animated film that I can't say anything about because it's not even in production yet. It's in pre-production. So that's been cool. And then we're working on some other cool projects like a music-based project where we're kind of taking abstract music and giving it form. And then the one that I can talk about specifically is we've worked on an AR mobile game called Wildermage. It's sort of like, gosh, I'm not describing it very well, sorry. It's sort of like Pokemon Go. It has walking missions, but you're in the world of fairy and fae and nature gods and things like that. So you're called into this world as a Wildermage. You're like a nature wizard. You're casting elemental magic. You're helping different fae, and each fae is of an element, but also has a specific job. So there's the light weaver, who is basically photosynthesis, who looks kind of like a fairy made out of fire and draws light through her wings to feed the plants, and you have evaporators and condensers who represent the water cycle, and they're little water sprites who sit on the water surface and pull the condensation up through their bodies and redistribute it that way. You have the propagator who's a little mushroom dude, and he takes care of fungal networks. It's cool. So we're covertly teaching natural sciences and more importantly, trying to impart a love for the natural world to children and to get them outside, because you have to take your phone and go on a walk to play parts of this game. So it's a good excuse to get out into nature. Hopefully nature, even just a walk anywhere outside is fine. But if I can get a good walk through some trees, I'm pretty happy. So for that game, and you can find it at wildermagegames.com.
We're actually already on the website looking at all the different art and everything. It looks really, really cool.
It does.
It's gorgeous.
So it's Jerica's vision, and then my job was as character designer and production artist. So I designed the characters, and then I also made the production art for them, which is like the actual sprites that get animated. And I also worked as an art director on that. So it was like my first big art director role. That was pretty cool. And then right now, my, intern who I brought in, Becca Hartman, is doing, now she's a production artist, so I'm directing her. So there's kind of this cool chain of inspiration and opportunity where, Jerica brings me in and I bring Becca in, and we, make stuff that we hope inspires people. But it was really neat to get to tap into my, inner Brian Froud to make this art. Because it's a bit different from my Disney stuff. It's grungier and closer to nature and a little bit more aged up, a little bit more like it's got dirt under its fingernails, if you know what I mean.
It's still very cool. Yeah. What a cool thing. We'll have to check that out. That looks really fun.
Oh, and then the last thing I worked on that I'm excited about is a toy called Instapoodles. It's like a little cup of noodles with little poodles.
That's adorable.
It's a kind of surprise toy, but I like to...
So kind of like a blind box thing?
Yeah, but what I like about it is it gives you a whole little play set and like 5 little figures that are squishy. Oh. So you have like a little play set, a little ride on, like a rocking horse or a bicycle or a car or whatever for the poodles. And you get a little house and you can put them at the door. And I would like to think that little Casey would have imagined play scenarios and cast characters and had like a little story in my head. Because I don't like surprise toys where the play value is entirely in the unboxing experience. I like to think that you would have a life beyond that.
Yeah.
Where you could play out little scenarios. But it was fun because they brought this to me with some art and some concept already in place. And it was looking pretty good. But they're like, can you just tell us which designs you like best? And do you have any suggestions? Can you make them cuter? And so I started putting baseball caps and sunglasses and bows on all these poodles and redesigning them. And then eventually, they let me do a color pass on them and give them names and give suggestions for the packaging. And, we're working on more for the future. And I think we're improving even beyond what we did with Wave 1. So, I'm a freelancer. I do lots of weird stuff, but this was a really fun one.
That's so adorable. We're looking at it. You have a video on your Instagram of you're showing the unboxing, but it looks like a little a cup of noodles. That's so
cup of noodles. Yeah, it's just a little bath fizz, and then the poodles float to the top, and you get them with a little chopstick.
That's so cute.
And I insisted that we use a little chopstick connector thingy because I'm like, when I was a kid, I couldn't use chopsticks. That would have been so.
How fun is that?
Yeah. So I'm doing lots of stuff.
All sorts of different things. Yeah.
And I've always got things cooking. I just can't always talk about everything.
Right. Yep. Nope. Makes total sense. Well, we will be sure to link your social media and, of course, your website as well so that people can go check these things out. They can go check out, especially the website, because we were looking through it and there's just so much beautiful art on there. There's of course, the Disney kind of stuff, but then there was also the Harry Potter things in there, plus just some of your original stuff too. There's just a ton of if you love animals, there's tons of animals. There's something on here for everyone.
For Goldie Hawn's foundation called Mind Up. It was really neat, imagining different parts of the brain as these nice animal characters, and I got to talk with Goldie about her vision and then bring it to life. It was really cool. So I work on a lot of stuff, and some of it ends up getting made, and some of it goes this far and no further, and you just do it all as everything I do is going to make me a better artist, and hopefully some of these will make it out into the world and make the world that much better. Oh, the other thing is I have an Etsy as well, so if people wanted to get prints, they can get them there.
I was looking at your Etsy and I went through all the different Etsy stuff, and the one that I'm so amused by right now, which you alluded to earlier, is the Harry Potter faculty skate night art print. I love Snape just angrily with skates on.
Yeah.
Right. I am required by contract to do this. All faculty must participate in faculty skate night. I used to do Harry Potter skate nights at the Moonlight Rollerway. They were so fun. People would dress up and we'd have butterbeer, and we'd have like a mini little Harry Potter convention. And I have to say, since we're on the topic, I am grieved by the personal politics of J.K. Rowling. That makes me sad because I don't agree with it, and I think her books are wonderful. I still really love the books of Harry Potter. I love the fandom. I do feel sad about the way it kind of feels weird now.
Yeah.
Because the meta knowledge of J.K. Rowling's politics, and I don't know. I support trans people.
Yeah. Oh, well, 100%.
And what's so weird is it seems like her book. I mean, we could go down a whole rabbit hole.
So progressive, right?
Yeah, like the whole point is acceptance, and then suddenly you're like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like I was always the weird kid in school, and so when you're the weird kid, or the fat kid, which I also was, or the dorky kid, which I also was, or the kid with the really conservative Christian parents who can't watch anything, which I also was, you're always on the outs. And all I wanted was a friend. And so much of my childhood was just longing for acceptance and just to, be the kind of person who has friends and be normal and not be teased or bullied or anything. And so, like, it gives you a lot of empathy, So I got a huge well of empathy in my heart for the weird kid, for the one who doesn't feel like they belong. And I want everyone to have a seat at the table. And I was lucky enough to get to go to a high school that was a performing arts high school. So we were basically all of the kids who would have been eaten alive at other schools. So there were no bullies at my high school because we all had been bullied.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's pretty amazing. That's awesome.
But the drama was like, oh, you wrote a song that was more impressive than my song, and I'm mad. Or, oh, you got the part to play that I wanted, but I'm more talented. It was all of that.
It's all the other drama.
Yeah.
There's always drama. But yeah, my ethos is kindness for all, respect for all, It's it's a hard and scary world, and I just try to bring a little light into it.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Well, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about that we did not talk about?
I will just briefly say that I've had the joy of attending many international Disney parks, well, many, Tokyo Disneyland, Disney Sea, and then briefly Disney Paris. And I would like to see more. I actually didn't get to go into Disney Paris because I didn't have any money. I was living in Paris as like a poor student trying to find a job. And I talked my way back to the casting director at Disneyland Paris. I'm like, I'm here to audition for the Wild West show. I've got a song from Annie, get your gun prepared. He's like, we're only hiring bands. And I'm like, I was just
so close
to my Americanness, but I didn't get to see the castle. It looks beautiful. And then Tokyo Disney Sea was extremely impressive. I love the Jules Verne stuff in it, and the Ariel, the mermaid show. Oh my gosh, go see that. If you're ever able to go to Tokyo Disney Sea, the live mermaid show where they have Ariel up on wires flying above you like she's swimming. It's so amazing.
Wow.
Love that. And then Tokyo Disneyland was strange because it was regular Disneyland remixed. It felt like being in a dream where everything is familiar but not. And everything's the same but in a different place, And then I had a very American experience when I went. Well, it was very distinctly Japanese and American. I went to the Country Bear Jamboree there, and everything's in Japanese except for certain phrases like "achy breaky heart." So it'll be Japanese, achy breaky heart, Japanese, and everyone's politely clapping and singing along and is really into it. And I'm like, this is such a strange cultural exchange. It's kind of my culture reflected back at me, and it's so weird, but it was so much fun. It was probably the most fun I had there.
The Country Bears.
Who knew? Really good.
The people in Japan that are Disney fans are very respectful, but they're really into Disney.
Amazing cosplay over there.
Yeah.
And they're allowed to wear full costume. You had full Anna and Elsa's in the park who were just normal people.
Wow.
You're allowed to go into the park in costume there, and they actually don't have that many walk around characters because kind of have it covered with all the cosplay.
Why pay people to do it when guests are going to come and do it for free?
They'd be delighted to.
Don't say that too loud. They might do that here in the U.S.
I mean, that was my little dream. Was I always I really want to be one of the meet and greet princesses or walk around characters. I never quite had the right combination of physical attributes and time and location. But I would oh man, if I could do everything I wanted in the world, I would do that. And I want to be a Christmas elf in the parade at Christmas time. I want to be one of the boy elves for Santa.
Yeah.
I love the Christmas parade. I guess in closing, I'll just say my hat is off to the Imagineers and the creatives and the performers who bring us the Disney Parks experiences. I also, while I'm on my high horse, hate the idea of charging for fast passes. I think it's inherently classist, and I'm not going back until they fix it. I haven't been since COVID, and it just makes me too sad for the children whose parents cannot afford it, and you're standing in line knowing that you're the poor kid.
Yeah.
It's gross, and I don't think Disney should do that. I think that they've got a lot of goodwill from making amazing parks and amazing experiences, and I love that. Don't be cheap.
I wish. Well, I just wish. How do I say this? I liked what we had before with Fast Pass, and then you could pay and then you could pay what was it, $10 or
You're
something?
talking about Max Pass
to then have Max Pass, which gave you the convenience to do the exact same thing but from your phone. But you still, everyone still had access. So you
still access it.
Yeah,
I like.
Yeah, I thought that was a good. I thought that was a good compromise, because then if you're somebody that valued the convenience, okay, but everybody can still take part in this.
Yeah, because I do think that one of the wonderful things about Disneyland is when you're there, everyone's a princess. And so I really want Disney to keep that ethos in mind. I don't know. Anyone from Disney is going to listen to this, maybe they'll be mad at me. I know they're probably trying to make up revenue from the big losses they took during COVID, but I think over the long term, providing people with a truly magical experience is gonna result in people spending money. Don't worry.
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna spend money.
And so what I was trying to say with that one caveat, because I am still pretty mad about the idea of charging for fast passes, is I want to express my appreciation for the people who work at the parks. You guys make it so magical. For the people who put together these experiences, for the people who, even do the administrative tasks that allow it all to run smoothly, all the seamstresses who make the costumes, and the people who take care of safety. Thank you. Disney parks are so magical.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that I've ever experienced like Disneyland. And I don't think there ever will be. And I'm so grateful that magic exists somewhere. But stop charging for fast passes.
Anybody who's listened to the podcast knows I get on my soapbox whenever I can, because Lightning Lane and Genie Plus, which is gone.
They just renamed it as well.
They just renamed it, but I just go bring back standby. At least the line moves with standby. When COVID, when the parks reopened after COVID, we just had standby. People were fine with this. I don't know why. I do know why, but anyway, we can go down a whole thing. So
I understand the bottom line, but
yeah,
but the magic.
Yes,
and the magic will keep us coming back, and the magic is very special to me. And that, to tie it back to Lorcana, someone I talked to said that they liked it because it was like a Disney Parks experience that you could have anywhere. And I'm like, that's beautiful. And I want to bring that magic to everyone, anywhere, at any price point. You could find a Lorcana card on the street and be like, oh, yay,
Yeah.
It's magical. I always try to bring my best, and I appreciate everyone else who does that too, because that's what makes the magic happen.
One more quick thing I want to say about Lorcana, and then we can wrap into the final question, is the thing that's also really special about Lorcana is Disney and Ravensburger did a really great job at making it very easy for people to kind of get into it. So it could be things like other card games. People get very intense about them and very competitive, whereas Disney's got their league is set up that you can get points because you showed up. Sometimes you get a point because you wore Disney stuff. You get points awarded for bringing a friend or teaching someone how to play. It's not all about you gotta win, you gotta win, you gotta win. Yes, they have tournaments and stuff. Exactly. It's more about the community than it is necessarily about the I don't know, rankings or whatever. Of course, there's going to be a competitive circuit because that's just how it works.
But keep it all friendly and we're good.
Exactly. So I think that's really cool. So if anybody's been thinking about Lorcana, I highly recommend it. Go to your local game store. They'll get you hooked up with their local league. They'll teach you how to play and all that. So it's really not scary.
They look cool. I mean, that's what my brother did with Pokemon cards.
Exactly. Or you could just collect them because they look cool.
And make sure you look at the bottom of the card because now
So
I'm going to go look at the bottom of my cards and see who drew all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And go support them.
Yes.
You kind of already answered this question, but I feel like we did the same thing earlier where you kind of answered a question, and then when we asked you the question, you had a different thing, so we'll see. So if you could work at Disneyland, what would you do? Sky's the limit. It can be any job, even something you make up.
Okay, so like I said, love to be a walk-around princess, but I also love musical theater, and I love to sing. So I would love to be a princess who sometimes walks around and meets and greets and does like the hugging the children and photos and all of that, is in the parades, but I'd also like to sing up on the stage, please.
That's awesome.
That's a job.
You could be like one of the princesses that they have at the the little theater that's in the Fantasy Fair theater.
Yeah.
Like Rapunzel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Rapunzel is very special to me because I was there when they were making Tangled. I was like in the studio. We were doing other stuff, but I was there. And I feel like Rapunzel is the closest to who I actually am as a person in terms of in terms of like if I had to pick a Disney character who's the most like me, it's probably her. You know, I was a little sheltered, but trying to be a shining light in the world.
She's awesome, too.
She's great. I love her. Yeah,
So,
I'm that dorky girl.
So anybody who has listened to you on our show and would like to follow you online, where can people find you and your work?
Sure. So Casey Robin on Instagram, and then just caseyrobin.com for my portfolio and body of work. And then I also have an Etsy shop. I don't remember the handle for it, but if you just search Casey Robin, you'll find me. Yeah, those are my main platforms right now.
We will get those all linked in the show notes so that everyone can find them. Yep. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Casey. We had so much fun chatting with you, and thanks for giving us kind of a peek behind the curtain on like the design process for the Lorcana cards and just your art and career in general.
Yes, thank you.
Happy to do it. As you can see, I'm full of opinions. So I like that.
That's okay. We are too.
Great.
Well, if you enjoy listening to the show, please consider rating and reviewing the show on your podcast app. It helps other Disney fans become weekly tiers and part of the community.
It's okay. I'll be the only weekly tier without an answer. Make sure you send your questions to Producer James or Producer Vern at trivia@DLWeekly.net.
Welcome back to Trivia Land, where we are going to keep going with Tag's optimism and see these great answers that they got and find out the correct answers.
Dang. Wait a minute.
So let's see how you did.
I mean,
your first question tonight from What Q Am I In? Your first clue was Captain America's shields were on the wall, which made you start to think web slingers. Your second clue was research facility sign on the wall, and the sign kind of looks like a UFO, which made you lock it in at web slingers. Your third clue, license plates wrapped around the posts. You stayed on web slingers. Your fourth and final clue, road signs on the walls. You locked in at web slingers. The correct answer that we were looking for was Mater's Junkyard Jamboree.
Oh, you're right. There is. Wow.
I knew it was Cars Land when it was the thing, but I was like, you know what? We're sticking with it.
But I think there are like road. I don't know. Now I'm questioning everything. Don't listen to me.
And to be fair, what actually made me come up with this particular What Q Am I In was when I saw the Captain America shield.
Yeah.
I said, oh, they'll never get this one.
As soon as you said that, I can picture the UFO sign in my head too. And I remember the Captain America. Dang, that was a good one.
Your second regular round question from listener Ryan P. Every attraction has a sign that reads, documents related to the certificate of compliance for this attraction may be viewed at City Hall in Town Square. One attraction in Frontierland holds a hidden piece of history related to Walt's family. Which attraction is it, and what is special about this signage? Tag said, the Mark Twain, and it's a picture of Walton Lilly. Teresa said, Big Thunder Mountain, something about Lillian's father. The correct answer that I was looking for was Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. The sign itself is signed by Willard P. Bounds, Lillian's father, who was a U.S. Marshal in the Rainbow Ridge area of Arizona, which is where Big Thunder Mountain actually is.
Dang! That was a good one.
Good job, Teresa.
I might be a little off on how I related the history, but that's the best that I recall from my brief Wikipedia reading.
Is it sign?
It represents his signature.
The record,
it's not actually him with a Sharpie,
yep.
but it's representative
right.
of his signature. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Your third regular round question from me. In which queue will you meet Lunella Lafayette? Both of you saying Webslinger. The correct answer that I was looking for was Webslinger.
Woo-hoo!
Good job.
At least Webslingers was right in one of the spots.
Well, it seemed weird to me that we would have two answers for the same attraction. So then I started getting worried.
I thought so too, and then I thought maybe Vern's just digging at the bottom of the barrel of his questions.
Sure. Vern's tricky like
Which
that.
I have done that before, and there have been nights that we did 5 questions that were all on the same topic. So, I mean, it could have happened. So, and your fourth and final...
And for those of you that don't know, Vern, a big chunk of the year does a running group where he teaches and helps people run anywhere from a 5K to a 10K to a half marathon. So tonight was one of the nights, and full marathons, and tonight was one of the nights that he had one of those runs. So he came in late because he had just gotten done with the run. So maybe you didn't have extra time to do stuff and you just needed to get stuff in. So we don't know. We don't judge. We do not judge here in Answerland what you do in Trivia Land.
Is Answerland a subland?
It's a suburb.
A suburb of Trivia Land? Okay.
Or maybe a neighborhood.
We are making up all new DL Weekly cinematic universe.
We need
things.
street signs.
We need street signs.
My goodness.
Right.
Signed by Lillian's father.
Yes. All right, your fourth and final regular round question from listener Sarah P. What were the original car colors of the People Mover when the attraction first opened in 1967? You said yellow, blue, red, and green. The correct answer that I was looking for was yellow, blue, red, and green.
Woo!
Good job, Teresa, for pulling the green.
You got 3 of the 4.
Did you not think it was yellow, red, and blue? You knew green.
I knew green.
Anyway.
You work well together. And your bonus question tonight. The last of the questions that I came up with on our last trip. So now I have to find all new material. Where are Luigi's cousins from?
Oh, yeah.
Tag said Padua. And Teresa said Matera. And my Italian accent is terrible. I hope I didn't offend anyone. The correct answer that we were looking for was Carsoli.
Ooh! And that's a real
Where
town?
is this at?
That's so cool. Carsoli.
So I wanted to find... There's all sorts of stuff all over the Rollickin' Roadsters area that says featuring our cousins from Carsoli.
Oh,
and
my
there's like a postcard looking thing that says greetings from Carsoli. And I'm searching for images of those so that I can show you, hey, I'm not making this up. And as I'm Googling Carsoli, it keeps coming up with the actual Italian town.
Wow.
And so then I found myself just diving into the wiki on it. And Carsoli, not only is it an actual Italian town, it was a fort built by the Romans to fight against Hannibal.
Oh.
It's like an amazing piece of Italian history that happens to be also part of Cars.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, so Trivia Land fanatics, if you get a chance, go into the wiki on Carsoli. It's cool. Check it out.
Huh.
Wow.
Carsoli is a little bit northeast of Rome. In the middle of a bunch of other stuff.
Wow.
Look at this, though. It's just this little tiny little town.
How cool is that?
That is very cool. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. Good question.
So, listeners, how do you think Tag and Teresa did? How did you do listening at home? Do you have some great information about Carsoli that you'd like to share with us? Or do you have some great questions that you'd like to have asked on the air? Well, if you've got those great questions and you want to send them in, feel free to do so at dlweekly.net/trivia.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
A special thank you to myself for editing the podcast.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us, and we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.
Hey, it's Michelle Beadle. That's right, the Michelle Beadle. You're welcome. You love talking about sports. I love talking about sports. You know the only thing cooler than talking about sports? Sports! And right now, all your favorite sports are on Sirius XM. I'm talking every NFL game, every game from the NBA, NHL, MLB, every NASCAR race, golf major conference college sports, and all the top games in the WNBA. If it gets your heart pumping, it's on Sirius XM. To start your free trial of Sirius XM today, visit SiriusXM.com/believe.